Hey guys, this is Deanna.
Hey classmates, this is Brett, and welcome back to episode 10.
Heck yeah.
For those that follow the Hard Lessons Facebook page, there was a uh-oh, and this week's recording got deleted, so we are re-recording, and I have wiped Deanna's memory, so she has no idea what I said earlier. And
You mean like with them flashy thingy?
I got one of them memory flashy thingies. Don't you remember?
No?
See how good it works?
Whoa.
So, so we're gonna
Do it again.
We're gonna do it again and be just as surprised this time as we were last.
Heck yeah, probably have the exact same questions. Or even better ones.
Boom. You got your paper and pen just in case?
No, but I can get a pen.
Okay.
Voila, got a
Voila.
pen.
All right. So yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. We just got done with our Bible study.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ready for a fresh week.
Ready for a fresh week.
So back in episode 1, before we even got started, we had said that, not that we look down on people that cuss, because we don't. Some of my best friends are cussers, and there is no judgment here. It's just something that Deanna and I don't do unless we get very upset. And so as we get older, we're trying to get less and less upset. But there is a quote in here. So we had said that we wouldn't cuss unless it was a quote linked to what we were covering. So there will be some cussing in today's episode. 2 words. And one of them's actually a place, not a cuss word. So I think everybody listening is adult enough to move past it. I just wanted to give that little disclaimer.
That was very nice of you to give that disclaimer so there's no surprises and anyway.
Yeah. You ready to get started?
Yeah, we are. All right, class is started.
All right. The more you know.
The more you know.
It is impossible to hum while holding your nose.
Yep.
Proof.
All right, proof. You cannot do it because your nose vibrates.
When you hum, air escapes through your nose, and that's what makes the sound.
That is crazy.
Isn't it, though?
I always thought it was just your mouth.
Yeah, but the more you know.
The more you know.
It can be educational.
That's right.
So, we are going into part 2 of JFK, and quite literally, this could end up being like a 10-parter. So, after today's episode, at the conclusion, teacher is going to draw a new subject for next week, and we will, at some point in time, come back to JFK. We're going to let him rest for a little bit. So, one new person to introduce in this week's episode that has a major part to do in the JFK story, and that is Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, he plays a very significant role into this.
Exactly. He was born October 18th, 1939 in New Orleans, Louisiana. And he died on November 24th, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. Excuse me. Do you remember who it was that shot and killed him?
Not personally, no.
Jack Ruby.
Jack Ruby, see,
Nightclub owner.
The nightclub owner. Why? How does that play into anything?
We'll get there.
Okay. Because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So Kennedy was visiting a nightclub, was he? Were they friends? Were they mob bosses? Were they like, what's going on?
So LBJ.
LBJ! That was a bit disrespectful, and I'm sorry.
You're good.
The way I said that.
You're good. You weren't the first person to disrespect him.
I know, but I shouldn't. Anyone.
So one of the big questions that has been asked, did LBJ get along with the Kennedys? Depends on who you ask.
True. I mean, everybody's got their own opinion.
Right. LBJ thought of the Kennedys, both John and his younger brother Robert, as spoiled rich kids that never worked for anything, just always had stuff handed to them. Sometimes LBJ felt like the Kennedys, both the president and Robert, humiliated him. That was how he felt. It wasn't how it actually happened. It's just how he felt.
Okay.
So maybe he had some self-issues, self-doubt issues.
Some self-esteem issues happening.
Yeah. And there was the possibility and rumor that President Kennedy was going to select a new running mate for the 64 election and not have Johnson on the ticket.
Not have Johnson on that ticket? Right.
But
that was just a rumor?
That was a rumor. However, many historians have spoke up and said no, Kennedy fully intended to keep Johnson as VP.
Well, then that would mean that Kennedy had
Some
faith
respect.
and trust and respect for him? Okay.
Some.
Well.
Yes. So there are two different sides
Every story.
of every story, but especially on thoughts of LBJ and his political career. Okay? One view is that he was a crude, power-hungry man who wouldn't accept being second to anyone. And unforgivably insensitive to the slain president's family in their time of sorrow.
Thanks.
Now the others viewed LBJ as a proud man and capable politician. He was tormented by the elitist Kennedy crowd from the moment he was selected as VP until his withdrawal from the 1968 campaign.
Okay, repeat that. I'm sorry.
He was tormented by those that supported Kennedy from the moment that he was selected as vice president until his withdrawal from the 1968 campaign. Those that supported Johnson, that's how they felt. They were like, oh, well, the Kennedy camp just dogs him, doesn't support him. That's how the Johnson supporters felt.
Okay, I was very confused because I'm like...
Right, yeah, that's how the Johnson supporters felt.
That they were basically excommunicating or excluding Johnson from things because he wasn't a true part of the Camelot era.
Exactly.
Okay.
The offer to be vice president from Kennedy to Johnson, some say, was an empty gesture that Robert Kennedy didn't think Johnson would accept.
Like, I don't... Okay, explain it.
There's a quote in the next bulletin that explains it perfectly.
Okay. I'll be patient.
And I'm going to mess this up just like I messed it up in the first recording. Because, not that it's a hard word to say, but it's two similarly sounding words side by side.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to say it slow.
Okay.
Arthur Schlesinger. Maybe I should have said the dude that wrote a book. His name's Arthur.
The writer.
Yeah. Author Arthur Schlesinger was quoted as saying, as Robert Kennedy's oral history makes clear, the offer of the vice president nomination to Johnson was pro forma. The Kennedys never dreamed Johnson would accept.
So basically, was it more like I wonder if they made bets on it. Like.
No. Well, no.
Okay.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, I'm not really sure what the pro forma means, but.
Well, I'm glad you asked because I wrote down the definition, Teach.
Sweet!
Pro forma is a matter of form or politeness.
Just to be polite and be like, oh, well, you didn't win the nomination, but so we'll just offer you this just to be polite.
Exactly. Johnson was also vying for the presidential nomination on the Democratic ticket in 1960 and was beat by Kennedy, obviously.
Obviously.
And so they're like, you know what, just to be polite, we should say, hey, why don't you be our vice president? He's not going to accept because he doesn't like to be second to anybody, but offer it to him anyway. And then Johnson accepted.
I wonder what the supporters of Johnson, because he didn't just like automatically say yes.
Right.
I mean, he needed to talk it out and figure it out. I wonder what his people were telling him about it.
They I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how they were. It could be good for your career.
Yeah.
Or they could have been like, I don't know. You know how the Kennedys are.
Yeah.
Better watch your back.
Were they backstabbers?
No, just, better than.
Oh. So it would be like almost like a handout. Like,
Pretty
well, you
much.
didn't win the top dog position, so I'm just going to give you this.
Here's a second place trophy.
Yeah. Yes. Did you lose your place?
I did.
So what is it? You got a fur ball?
Uh-huh.
Here, let me whack it at you.
Okay. Maybe that's what I needed, you to whack me in the back.
You're welcome.
One historian notes that there is evidence that LBJ was not valued or respected by the White House.
Oh, so there's documentation over this?
He was excluded from key meetings that he should have been invited to. He had more private breakfasts with former President FDR decades before when he was a junior congressman than he did with President Kennedy. He was mocked by the White House staff behind his back. And I don't know if this is just a made-up name that sounds like a country bumpkin, being from Texas. But behind his back, they would call him Rufus Cornpone.
It's just rude.
And to his face, they called him
Mr. Vice President?
Lyndon. To his face. Not Mr. Vice President, not the title that he earned and was given. He was called Lyndon.
Now, was that what he wanted, or that's just what they did?
That's just what this one historian notated.
Oh, okay.
So he didn't say anything about, Mr. Vice President said, no, just call me Lyndon. Or if they just called him that. I'm assuming if they were calling him Rufus Cornpone behind his back, they were doing it out of disrespect.
Yeah, definitely that's just rude.
But that's just me assuming.
Yeah.
So.
Well, don't make an ass out of yourself.
Not at all. All this led to Johnson feeling frustrated, angry, and embarrassed. But was it enough for him to kill President?
It could be.
He did not like being second to anybody. What would be the best way for him to get the presidency?
Well, you gotta knock out the person that's in the spot.
Well, go back even further. That empty gesture of offering of the vice presidency, you accept it. Then you become vice president and then move him out of the way and boom, you're president. Am I saying that's what happened? No. But thousands of conspiracy theorists are.
Definitely.
Experts have forever rejected the theory, however, that Johnson was involved in the assassination. Political consultant Roger Stone, however, isn't convinced. He's quoted as saying, no, he's not quoted as saying this. He wrote it in his book. I realize that delving into the world of assassination and research and a belief in a conspiracy will lead some to brand me as an extremist or a nut. But the facts I have uncovered are so compelling that I must make the case that LBJ had JFK murdered in Dallas to become president and to avert the precipitous political and legal fall that was about to beset him, Stone wrote in his 2013 book, The Man Who Killed Kennedy, The Case Against LBJ. Which I will have you know, Teach, is already in my Amazon.
Your Amazon cart? That's the book, and it. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome to read.
The book also implicates Vice President Johnson in 6 other murders. So that's one of the reasons why I want that book. Well, who else is he implicated against?
Really? Ooh, the plot thickens.
The plot thickens. Now, Mr. Stone, the author of that book, also at one time worked for former President Richard Nixon. And so he quotes Nixon in the book as saying, Lyndon and I both wanted to be president. The difference was I wouldn't kill for the office.
Whoa.
So.
That's pretty
damning.
Yeah. I think anyway. I could be wrong.
President Nixon had a lot of inside information. I mean, he was a former vice president.
Yeah. I mean, and people talk.
Exactly. However, Sean Cunningham, who is a history professor at Texas Tech University.
Now?
Go Red Raiders, yes ma'am.
Whoa.
Says there is no evidence to prove that Johnson was involved. In an interview, Professor Cunningham said, in an interview with the Daily Beast, Professor Cunningham said, Johnson makes for a good story and an easy way to explain things, but nothing points back to him.
So there's no concrete evidence or anything to really point to him that he had any involvement.
Exactly. So either he is not involved or he's the smartest country bumpkin Rufus corn pone that the White House ever saw.
I'm really going to go leaning towards the second option. I'm thinking he was pretty smart.
He was pretty smart.
Yeah, and he still had his oil field, his oil business people, go and talk to them in private in Dallas in their office. I still think there's a whole lot behind this.
I agree. And let's look at another story, another conspiracy.
Okay.
The Umbrella Man.
The Umbrella Man.
Have you ever heard of this one?
Nope.
Awesome.
It sounds something like from James Bond or
It gives off a lot of James Bond vibes.
or like the oh my gosh. Anyway, I can see him. I just can't remember his name.
Your feller Matt Damon.
No, Umbrella Man would have been killed by Jason Bourne.
Jason Bourne. That's.
I was just thinking of.
I know.
Inspector Gadget.
Oh well, okay. Equally ridiculous. I was thinking you was thinking of Austin Powers, that Good Family movie.
What's the one where Max Smart, Mr. Smart? Get Smart, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, the Umbrella Man. And we're moving into the part where there's also a conspiracy of multiple shooters. And the Umbrella Man is the most famous theory involving multiple shooters. A mysterious person holding an opened black umbrella on the bright sunny day that President Kennedy was murdered. Earlier in the day, it had rained, but the skies cleared, and at the time of the assassination, it was about 68 degrees outside.
Okay.
And there's all these people watching the president go through downtown Dallas and headed to the airport, and as they pass by the grassy knoll, there is a man standing with an umbrella.
Ooh.
And I'm going to mess up this guy's name, not on purpose, but I'm going to mess up this guy's name. The Zapruder film, so there was a man, Mr. Zapruder, it's Mr. Z.
Mr. Z.
Who lived in Dallas, owned a line of successful clothing stores.
Okay.
He was there with, at the time, would be a high-tech video camera.
Okay.
And was filming the president as he drove past him, where Mr. Z was standing on Elm Street at the grassy knoll. And as he passed in front of Mr. Z, Mr. President was murdered, and he caught it all on film.
What?
And so you can find these videos on YouTube. And right as the presidential limousine is passing in front of Mr. Z and his video camera, you see a man on the other side of the road hold out his umbrella like out in front.
Yeah.
And as the president is about to pass him, he raises it up over his head.
Huh.
So there's two theories behind this.
Okay.
The theory involving multiple shooters is that when the Umbrella Man had the umbrella held out in front pointing at the car, was the sign for the shooter in front to take his shot.
Okay.
And then as he brings it up and holds it over his head, the shooter in back takes his shot.
Oh, that's good choreography right there.
Wouldn't it be great if it worked out like that?
Yeah.
So that's...
I mean, how could you not think that that was something?
Exactly. That's theory number one.
Okay.
With the Umbrella Man.
Okay.
Theory number two with the Umbrella Man.
Okay.
And you was talking about Maxwell Smart, Mr. Gadget, Inspector Gadget.
Yes.
Theory number two involves a high-tech poisonous dart gun inside the umbrella that shot a poisonous dart into the neck of President Kennedy,
Okay.
leaving him paralyzed so he would be an easy kill shot.
Oh, so he wasn't trying to, like, basically get out of the way?
Exactly. Now, on the videos that you can find on YouTube, Mr. Kennedy, it appears just before the first bullet strikes him, brings his hands up
Okay.
in like a clenched fist, both of them, and holds them close, and his body stiffens up.
Okay, like maybe something did happen?
Right, like maybe a poisonous dart hit him and he was paralyzed.
Okay.
However, after researching the film more, it was actually after the first shot hit Mr. President in the neck that his arms came up and he was...
Where was the first one hit? I mean, like, was that the one in his neck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I wonder if it was like his spine or like his nerves, like...
Very well could have. So...
It would have only taken one shot. There was no need for the others.
I had to make sure. So those are the two theories behind the Umbrella Man. So who is the Umbrella Man, you might say?
Yes, poor guy. I mean, you know he was being hunted down.
Exactly. He is life insurance salesman from Dallas, Louis, I just lost his name, Louis Stephen Witt.
Okay.
In 1978, he was being interviewed by the House Senate Committee.
Poor guy.
And he told them, I brought the umbrella to heckle the president, not help kill him. I'm actually a Democrat. I was a supporter of his.
Holy cow.
There is a 2011 short documentary called The Umbrella Man by filmmaker Errol Morris. And Mr. Witt was later quoted as saying, if Guinness Book of World Records had a listing of somebody being in the wrong place at the wrong time, I would be in first place and it wouldn't even be a close second.
No, I mean, it's like,
Yeah, he brought
wrong place, wrong time. Every stinking thing could go wrong, it did. And he was just there to play a prank.
just a practical joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Like an inside joke type thing.
There was something, and I only found the article once, and I couldn't find it again. But there was something about, there was somebody that his dad politically supported. It seems like they were over in England, or they had a lot of the similar beliefs. Something. I can't remember exactly what now. But that person always carried a black umbrella. And so he brought the black umbrella as just kind of a gesture, a throwback to his dad.
Right.
So...
Poor guy. I wonder if while he was doing that, he even understood what was going on.
I mean, just even, with the coincidence of raising his, and that's when the shot went off.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just the timing of it had, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's...
I bet you he wished that his cab was late that day.
Oh, like maybe he would have either showed up.
Exactly. This theory was discounted, however, when investigators realized that the umbrella had never even been equipped as a weapon. It was just an umbrella.
Oh my gosh, that poor man though.
I hope he didn't lose any life insurance customers.
Oh, I hope so. I hope not either. I mean, like, did they track him down right away, or was there some time in between? Like, what happened? Like, did they tackle him right away?
No.
Okay.
No, there was some time. They didn't say how long, but sometime later.
Okay. But you know that dude with that video camera, he was like
I got to get this to the police department.
Or he was tackled or something.
Something,
like,
yeah.
I mean, just to know what the chaos was at that moment. I mean, terrifying.
Just think about being there that day. You know, I can remember, and you know, there's been some historical things happen in our lifetime. You know, President Reagan being shot. I don't remember the NASA flight number or anything like that, but the space shuttle that exploded that had the teacher from Texas on it. I actually got to see that live on TV. I, air quote, played sick from school that day.
Right.
And Mom had gone over to my grandparents' house. And so I was watching Wheel of Fortune because, you know, Sprite, crackers, and Wheel of Fortune not Wheel of Fortune, Price is Right.
Price is Right, man.
Makes any sick high school kid in the 80s feel better.
Definitely.
And so watching Bob Barker, and they came on with a breaking news story. They said, let's go as the space shuttle is about to lift off. And I was like, well, okay, I'll watch it. And not even a minute into it, it explodes. And I'm like, holy crap. You know, so getting to see that live, I can't imagine thinking, well, I'm not going to go down and see the president, and then deciding at the last minute to do it, and you show up, and the only place to go is over on the grassy knoll, and then this happens.
No, but it's all orchestrated. Everything is orchestrated.
Exactly.
To work out the way it's supposed to work out.
You're at where you're meant to be.
Yep. But just to like, holy cow, what just happened?
Yeah.
Be like a daze. Woo.
All right, so we will move on from the Umbrella Man.
Okay.
To possible CIA involvement.
CIA involvement? Possible CIA involvement. Okay.
All right. Does the name Dr. Cyril Recht sound familiar to you? W-R-E-C-H-T.
I don't know, but that last name sounds weird. Like, I don't even want to think about what I'm saying.
What about the first name, Cyril? C-Y-R-I-L.
That one's not so bad, but the Recht?
Rectum.
You said it.
Well, I meant like, you know, wreck a car, wreck them.
Okay, because that's not what you said.
Moving along. When have you ever listened to what I said?
During the podcasts.
Oh, okay. Dr. Cyril Recht is a famed pathologist.
Okay.
How famed?
Yep.
He has worked on cases such as Elvis Presley, John Benet Ramsey, the Branch Davidian incident, Lacey Peterson, did the autopsy on Robert Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr.
Whoa.
So he has worked on some high cases.
Yeah. Very much so.
Dr. Recht was also the first non-governmental forensic pathologist to gain access to the National Archives to examine the assassination materials on JFK in 1972. He stated in a 1978 interview that Oswald did not act alone, and at 90 years of age today still believes that. Nearly 60 years ago, there was a 7-man panel called the Warren Commission put together to investigate if Oswald acted alone or not, or if there was any other involvements by any other group.
Okay.
And they did decide that Oswald acted alone and committed the murder because he was a disaffected, profoundly maladjusted loner with communist sympathies.
That was a mouthful.
Tell me. Oswald in 1959 had defected, did I use the word right?
Defected, yes.
To Russia. He came back to the United States in 1961.
Okay.
With a wife, Marina, whose uncle was one of the leaders of the KGB. So...
Okay. Whoa, what a connection.
Lee Harvey came back with some high-ranking background.
Yeah, but no. Doesn't mean that the high-ranking KBG officer even knew anything about him.
Well, this is true. There's nothing that I found that states that he even ever met her uncle. But
well, exactly.
But it just puts that bug in the ear.
Exactly.
Dr. Reck believes Oswald had most certainly been a CIA agent of some kind. I don't have the paperwork to prove it, but his marksmanship and his close ties to high-ranking officials just gives me that feeling.
Okay, high-ranking officials on both sides or just Russia?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Maybe there was a reason why he defected and met this woman that her uncle happens to be a very high-ranking KGB.
That's how you know. The plot thickens.
Exactly. Ooh, and this dude would know. He got to read all the
inside,
all the archived stuff that nobody is ever going to get to read.
Well, they're supposed to be releasing them.
Yeah.
They keep delaying. It was supposed to have happened in 2017. In 1992, the government said, okay, you got 25 years to release them. It's supposed to have happened in 2017. We'll see if it ever happens or not. Each president keeps pushing it back.
Oh, okay. It's because they just don't want. They don't want people to read what's in there. And then, it's not that it would what they would release would have all the information in it anyway. They're going to release what they want you to know.
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly. So the directive to kill President Johnson.
No.
Kennedy.
Thank you.
Thank you for catching me on that.
You're welcome. Because I'm like, wait a second.
President. I was just seeing if you was paying attention.
Oh, okay.
You passed.
I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome. May have come from the inside.
Okay.
Does the name Alan Dulles sound familiar to you?
CIA?
Only because we did this a little while. He is the former director of CIA from 1953 to 1961. He oversaw the disastrous Bay of Pigs invasion to oust Cuban dictator Fidel Castro. And he had reason to be frustrated with Kennedy. What was that reason, you may be asking?
Yeah, what was the reason?
In 1961, President Kennedy fired Dulles because he was pissed off about what the CIA was doing. Felt they were just going rogue.
They were going rogue. What tipped the president off that something's not right here?
Well, this article didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it did or
Right.
Okay.
So, how could Alan Dulles be have a hand in the cover-up?
I don't know. Tell me.
That 7-man commission to investigate the assassination, the Warren Commission.
Uh-huh.
Alan Dulles was one of the 7 men that was appointed to be on it.
Freaking rigged.
Exactly.
Totally rigged. Because that man was probably mad at Kennedy anyway, so it really wouldn't have mattered.
Oh, he was mad because Kennedy fired him.
What? Yes.
Oh, so yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh. That was just stupid. Who put that? Who nominated him for that? Let me guess. The new President Johnson. Oh my gosh. He handpicked them people. He knew exactly what to do. Oh gosh.
So, Dr. Wecht has the same feelings as you. His quote on the matter:
Yep.
"It stinks to high heaven."
Stinks. It's freaking stupid.
That's just putting it out there bluntly, isn't it? It
Yes.
stinks to high heaven.
Isn't that like almost like corrupt bargain in the early America?
I would think that it would
Government?
be like double jeopardy almost, having him on there knowing that Kennedy fired him. He's going to do something to get back at the Kennedy family.
True. So it's that, and like you purposely put people in your cabinet or whatever, or you that is going to vote the way you want them to,
Right,
or the
right.
way you need them to. Yeah, of course.
Exactly.
All right.
After a 10-month investigation, the Warren Commission concluded that Oswald fired 3 times. First shot missed, another hit Kennedy in the back, and a third in the head.
Okay.
So by 1978, bring the brilliant Dr. Wecht in here again. He was a member of the Forensic Pathology Panel assembled by the House Select Committee on Assassinations. Another mouthful.
Okay.
I don't know what it is with the government, why they can't just give a little, okay, you're called this. Bada-bum. So yeah, he was a member of the Forensic Pathology Panel assembled by the House Select Committee on Assassinations.
So in case there was an assassination, they would be the doctors in charge.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
He testified in favor of a second gunman. And I don't know how many other forensic panel members there was, but he was the only one that said there was a second gunman.
Oh, he was outnumbered then.
He was, and he was quoted as saying, "I don't care. I will stand alone. There was 2 gunmen." And he still feels this way today.
Can't they can tell what direction a bullet is shot, right?
Getting there.
Okay.
In the very next bullet.
Okay.
Getting to the bullet in the next bullet. The Warren Commission said the gunshot in Kennedy's back had an upward trajectory. Okay, you're right. So it went into his shoulder, came out his throat, is what they're saying.
Okay.
How is that possible? When he is up 6 floors and shooting down, it would have a downward trajectory. And that is exactly what Dr. Wecht is saying. Oswald was shooting from above, aiming down. He's firing from the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository building. So the bullet is moving from up to downward. So how the hell can it go upward then, into his shoulder, and then travel up to come out his neck, if it's already
Holy
on a
cow.
downward trajectory?
Well, it shouldn't. Wouldn't that like defy physics or whatever that is? I'm not no Sheldon, but I mean, like that just is nearly the opposite. Well, it is the opposite of like if you're up above and it's going down.
Exactly.
Like I don't understand.
Maybe it
Unless
ricocheted
did he
off
have
of
to
a
move?
rib cage.
Did he go down
Now, remember, so this is the first one that was shot.
the shot?
And so remember, he paralyzed and brought his arm. He didn't he stiffened. According to that video.
Yeah. So was the one that came out of his neck, is that the one that hit the governor?
That's what they're alleging.
Okay.
Dr. Wecht is alleging that the first gunman was in front. It shot Governor Connally, went through him, and then into President Kennedy.
Okay.
That's Dr. Wecht's theory.
Okay.
And then the one that Oswald, he never once said Oswald wasn't involved.
Right. No, he's just saying Oswald did not do this on his own.
Right. And so the one that Oswald shot
went
was
through
the
his
kill
head.
shot into this head.
So from the... Okay, well, that doesn't make sense either. Because there was a hole in his shoulder.
Yeah, on through here and the exit.
It would have had to have been like this way then. Sorry.
No.
If it goes out the right shoulder?
Well, I mean, it wasn't like dead center of it. I mean, it could have been.
Oh, okay. Well, you don't say his neck then, because
I'm
thinking
just
like
saying.
right here, like
yeah.
big old target on
Who
here.
knows?
Okay.
Who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know, but still, I mean, like I'm trying to picture this.
Exactly. Now, you remember last week when I said there was issues with the autopsy?
Yes, because the people in Dallas were like, we're going to do this autopsy, and the government came in and said, no, you're not, and basically took the body.
Basically, yes. Dr. Wecht has other issues. Other than, I mean, yeah, he's like, the autopsy should have happened in Dallas at Parkland Memorial. That is where the forensic pathologist for the county was officed at. And he basically called the agents that went in and took the bodies bullies, and said they bullied their way in and held doctors that had no weapons to protect themselves up against the walls.
But who told him to do that?
Johnson.
So Johnson, it goes back to Johnson,
back
ordered these people to go in and you get that body and you pack it up and let's go.
Right. There's another great video that I watched yesterday. It went into the details about the casket and the difficulties they had loading it onto Air Force One, the difficulties they had unloading it on Air Force One, and it.
Well, it wasn't supposed to be done that way.
Exactly. Dr. Wecht's two issues with the autopsy. Huge problems.
Okay.
It was two physicians that performed the autopsy. Neither one of them was certified in forensic pathology.
This is what I was about to ask. I was like, there wasn't even forensic doctors. They were just doctors.
And neither of them had ever done an autopsy of a gunshot victim. So you're going to have them start on the President of the United States?
Just so there was goof-ups and mess-ups. It's a cover-up.
Dr. Wecht conducted a probe in 1972.
Okay.
When he was given permission to look at all the information and all that. Of course, he wasn't able to examine the body.
Right. All he had to go by was the files and pictures.
Yes, ma'am. However, big issue.
Big issue, yeah.
JFK's brain, although listed on the inventory sheet, was missing, was gone.
How does a brain disappear? And why? Like, what's the purpose of this brain?
Well, if the brain would have been there and Dr. Wecht could have looked at it, he could have proved the two-shooter theory. He could have proved that a bullet came in from the front as well as the back. He said, he was quoted as saying, if they had dissected the brain, they would have seen there were two bullets, one in the front, one in the back.
Okay.
So, going back,
Okay.
there was proof that that Oswald shot 3 times,
Okay.
right? And I mean, the Warren Commission said that.
The Warren freaking,
Said
commission,
that.
whatever.
So, but they said the first one missed. So what if that is the one that went through the president's neck and then into
The governor.
Governor Connolly?
Okay. Now, I can go with that one because I'm like, wait a second.
And that's when he got paralyzed.
Okay.
And then Oswald shot again
Okay.
hit him in the head. And then there was another shot from the front that also hit him in the head. We'll never know because there's not a brain.
That's just crazy. I bet you it was cremated.
Reports were that, and again, this is another theory that we could go chase down.
Yeah, there's so many theories
Oh
on
my
this
gosh.
one.
That Robert Kennedy in 1964 had the brain destroyed. Again, there's no proof that he did. There's no proof that he didn't.
There's no proof that he actually ever had it. So why? That doesn't make sense, because if that was one of my brother's brains and it could prove that something else happened or whatever, they're going to get it and they're going to be able to solve the problem. So why would Robert want to keep it? Unless Robert was actually behind all of it to get rid of his brother so he could come in and take the place. Really?
I can't say anything for sure. I love America.
Oh my gosh.
That's just the vibes that I can't say for sure. That's just, I mean, I never saw anything that said that.
Okay.
That's just the vibes I got. And so that's why at some point I want to come back to Kennedy.
Well, yeah, because there's a whole lot of stuff about Oswald, too, that we didn't get to cover.
Exactly. Like
Okay,
this
so
could
this
be
is just
like
the cream that's on the top. We haven't got down deep.
this could be like a 30 episode.
Yeah.
Once you get all through all the other, and this spawns that theory, and that spawns this theory,
Oh
and
my gosh, I never thought about a family member. Of course, that happens all the time, but whatever.
whatever.
Okay.
So
well, let's not chase the squirrel because it could get deep.
Dr. Wex based his theory on witness testimony, Mr. Z's film,
Okay.
and the medical evidence that he did have in front of him.
Didn't like the film, like it shows him when he lurches forward and then he lurches back? Isn't there something like that?
I would have to watch it again.
Watch it again, okay.
It-
Hey, we could watch that movie JFK that has Kevin Costner in it.
that is actually the movie that stirred up a lot of the theories as far as a second gunman.
Really? Ooh, now I want to watch it. I'll give you all a report on it when we watch it.
We've got to give a report also on The Exorcist True Believer.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to hurry. Okay,
Yes.
so that is the end. That's all I got for this time. My bibliography,
Yes, I see that you have a bibliography and you did a lot of research.
NewYorkPost.com. Article is JFK Assassination Expert. Lee Harvey Oswald Lone Gunman Theory is bullshit. WashingtonPost.com. JFK Assassination Conspiracy Theory. The Grassy Knoll. Umbrella Man. NLBJ. And Politico.com. Caro revives Kennedy Johnson feud. So that is what I've got. What kind of a grade did I get this week? A plus last week.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you another A+ on this one. Because that was a lot of information and you worked really hard on it, and you brought up lots of other possible conspiracy theories, and you admitted there was a whole lot more information than what you even realized.
You know, I'm a history buff, and I have watched and read a lot of stuff on JFK Assassination, but I learned so much doing this. And yeah, there is holy crap.
Yeah. Okay, so what is your opinion on it? Just a real quick
Quick.
What do you think?
I think there was two gunmen.
There's two gunmen?
There's no way Lee Harvey Oswald could have done that just by himself. He was a smart man, but I don't think he was that smart of a man.
Yeah.
I think to some extent the government was involved. I don't know if it was LBJ or Robert Kennedy, but I feel like somebody in the government was involved. And I think we will never know the truth.
I was going to say, there's only very select few who know this, and we won't ever find out.
And again, that is just my opinion. Big brother, don't come for me. All right. So, what about you? What do you think?
I think it's a definite government involvement. I think Oswald was part of it, but he didn't know all of the details, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does.
Like, you don't want everybody to know the same thing, because then what if this person talks and then you know everything? So he only had his bit of information.
Yeah.
So, but there is just something not right.
Something not right.
Something.
All right. While I shake this up, give your review on The Exorcist.
The Exorcist is a must-watch movie. I can't wait to get to watch it again. It wasn't overly terrifying. There were a few good scare moments. It was just well done, I believe.
I believe so.
So, yeah.
And, it wasn't horribly scary, like Teach said, because I didn't get punched. There was a couple of screams. There was a couple of times she closed her eyes, but I never got punched. So, and the ending was amazing.
Yes. Now I'm like trying to picture all of it over again. Yes! Dark Hollywood.
Ooh, all right. Well, classmates, we will see y'all next week with a story from Hollywood that they didn't want let out.
Yay! Bruce Lee! Bing, bing, class is over.